looking for her. And most of all, just missing her. Just missing her.
Tears filled the eyes of Savannah Guthrie as she spoke publicly about a possibility her family has been trying desperately not to face. Nearly 5 weeks after her 84-year-old mother Nancy was taken from her home, Savannah acknowledged for the first time that her mother may no longer be alive. It was a moment filled with pain, honesty, and emotional strength, marking a turning point in a search that has tested her family in ways they never imagined. Savannah explained that it has now been 24 days since her mother was taken from her bed in the middle of the night. The disappearance happened quietly, under the cover of darkness, turning an ordinary night into a living nightmare. From the earliest hours after Nancy vanished, the family chose hope over fear. They believed that a miracle was still possible and that Nancy could be found alive and brought safely home. That belief has never fully left them, but as the days passed with no answers, reality began to press in. She shared that while the family still believes Nancy can return home, they also understand that she may be lost forever. Speaking those words out loud was heartbreaking. Savannah had avoided publicly acknowledging the worst-case scenario for weeks, holding tightly to hope as a way to survive the uncertainty. But as the search continued with no clear breakthroughs, she felt it was important to be honest about every possibility, no matter how painful. Savannah also spoke about her mother's deep religious faith. She explained that Nancy lived her life guided by strong belief and a deep love for God. Thinking about that faith has brought the family some comfort. Savannah shared that if the worst has already happened, they take some peace in believing that Nancy may now be with the Lord she loved so deeply. Still, she made it clear that faith alone cannot replace answers. What the family needs most is certainty. Not knowing where Nancy is or what happened to her has become its own form of suffering. Investigators believe Nancy was abducted from her home in Tucson during the early morning hours of February 1st. Law enforcement later released images from a doorbell camera that appear to show a possible suspect near the house around the time of the disappearance. Those images offered a brief sense of hope, but weeks later, no arrests have been made, and the person seen in the footage has still not been identified. The lack of progress has only deepened the family's anguish. One key development continues to offer a small but meaningful sense of hope. DNA evidence was found inside the home and has been sent to a laboratory for analysis. Authorities have explained that the DNA sample appears to be mixed, meaning it could include both Nancy's DNA and that of another individual. Savannah explained that if the sample contains someone else's DNA, it could directly identify the person responsible for taking her mother and finally move the investigation forward. For the family, that possibility represents one of the few remaining paths toward answers. As days turned into weeks with no resolution, Savannah and her family decided to take a bold and emotional step. They announced a family-funded reward of up to $1 million for information leading to Nancy's recovery. This reward appears to be in addition to more than $200,000 already offered by the FBI and an anonymous donor. The family hopes that the increased reward will push someone somewhere to finally speak up. Savannah emphasized that someone out there knows something important. She explained that even a small detail, something that may seem insignificant, could be the missing piece investigators need. She urged anyone who has been waiting, doubting, or feeling afraid to come forward, reminding them that doing so could bring her mother home. When asked whether she believes her mother is still alive, Savannah admitted that it is one of the hardest questions she has ever faced. She explained that investigators must continue operating under the belief that Nancy is alive because hope is essential to the search. While there are concerns about Nancy's need for medication, authorities believe she would be far more valuable alive, which strengthens their determination to keep looking. In closing, Savannah shared the family's deepest wish. Bringing Nancy home would allow them either to celebrate an extraordinary, miraculous reunion or to properly honor a life defined by strength, courage, faith, and love. Until that day comes, Savannah continues to ask the public for compassion, urging anyone with information to step forward and help bring light into one of the darkest chapters her family has ever endured.